Here in South Central Illinois, the Macoupin County Board recently passed an ordinance dealing with the idea of Illinois separation. I should have made this video first, but we'll address it as a prequel to my video on should downstate separate from Illinois. And before people argue about whether or not this is a good idea or a bad idea, we should probably start with a more basic question. And that is, what did the county board actually pass? The ordinance above me here is titled An Ordinance Authorizing Advisory Referendum on Illinois Separation. The word advisory really matters because an advisory referendum is not a law. It does not change the Illinois Constitution. It does not create a new state. It does not separate Macoupin County from Illinois. It does not move Macoupin County into Indiana or Missouri. And it does not remove Macoupin County from the authority of Springfield. An advisory referendum is basically an official public opinion question. It lets voters express an opinion on an issue. And that's all. According to the ordinance that I posted earlier, the Macoupin County Board voted to place this question on the November 3rd, 2026 general election ballot. The vote on the county board was 9 yeas and 6 nays. So this was approved by the county board, but it wasn't unanimous. Now, the question voters would see on the November ballot is essentially this. Should the Macoupin County Board correspond with the boards of other Illinois counties outside Cook County about the possibility of separating from Cook County to form a new state and seek admission to the Union, subject to the approval of the people? The wording in that is pretty important because it does not ask, should Macoupin County leave Illinois tomorrow? It doesn't ask, should Macoupin County join another state? It does not ask, should a new state automatically be created? It asks whether the county board should communicate with other county boards about the possibility of separation and forming a new state. So, in November, if someone votes yes, they're not directly voting to create a new state. And they're actually voting to tell the county board, yes, explore this idea. So, in November, if someone votes no, they are saying no. Don't spend time pursuing this idea. That distinction matters because a lot of the public conversation makes this sound more powerful than what it really is. This is not a binding act of secession. It is not a legal separation. It is not a declaration of independence. It is an advisory referendum. Now, that does not mean it's meaningless. Advisory referendums can send a political message. They can show public frustration. They can tell elected officials what voters are thinking. They can put pressure on local or state leaders. And clearly, this issue comes from real frustration. Many people in rural and downstate Illinois feel ignored by the state government. They feel like Chicago and Cook County and the suburbs and the collar counties, they dominate Illinois politics. They believe that some state laws don't fit rural communities, small towns, or agricultural areas. And whether someone agrees or disagrees with that frustration, it's still real. But frustration and legal authority are not the same thing. A county board can place an advisory question on the ballot, and a county board cannot create a new state. A county board cannot remove Macoupin County from Illinois. A county board cannot bypass the Illinois General Assembly, and a county board most definitely cannot bypass the United States Constitution. And that is where the larger issue begins. Even if Macoupin County voters approve this question, the result would only be advisory. It would not force separation. It would not force the state to act. It would not force Congress to act. The county board could say that voters gave them permission to talk to other counties about the idea. But that is very different from actually making the idea happen. So before people debate whether this is patriotic or foolish or necessary or impossible or symbolic, we should be clear about what is actually on the table. The Macoupin County Board voted 9-6 to place an advisory, non-binding referendum on the November 2026 ballot. That referendum would ask voters whether the county board should talk with other counties about the possibility of forming a new state separate from Cook County's influence. That is the beginning of the conversation. It's not the end of the legal process, and it is definitely not the creation of a new state. So the first thing voters need to understand is this. A yes vote sends a message. A no vote sends a message. But neither vote separates Macoupin County from Illinois. And that is why the words matter. We have advisory, non-binding, possibility, subject to approval. And those words tell us what this ordinance actually does. And just as importantly, what it does not do. Thanks for taking the time to watch.